Hello everyone, I'm Emily Powers, and in this video I'm going to show how I paint some pink flowers with acrylic paint. It's step by step, so you can follow along as I paint. And the supplies I'm using, the canvas and the paints and everything, are in the description so you can see the exact colors and brushes I'm using. And there's also links to some of the supplies in the description where you can buy some of them. This is a 8 by 8 inch Fix Smith canvas panel, so it's a little different than the canvas I normally use. But I'm just going to go ahead and do the first layer, and this is a number 6 Filbert. It's a Princeton Summit Filbert. And there's a link in the description to the brush guides where you can get the brushes I'm using, some of the brushes I'm using, and you can get 5% off when you use the code EmilyArt. I'm just going to go ahead and start. I'm going to do some pretty light colors in the background. So I'm going to add, this is titanium white that I'm getting first, and there's a pretty bright white spot right here. This is glazing liquid, so it's it can help make the paints that I'm using dry a little bit slower so that I can blend with them a little bit more. So this first layer I'm just going to use this Filbert only to put on the paint. And I don't even think I need the glazing liquid yet, but I will on the next layer. So I'm just going to get some white first and put it in this really bright spot. I thought I would also say that I just opened my Etsy shop, so that's in the description as well. If you haven't checked that out already, you can buy some of my paintings that I've done. So this is the really bright spot, and then I'm going to get some unbleached titanium and kind of go around it a little bit. And then I'm going to get some Phthalo Green with the unbleached titanium. So it's a very light color. I may even get some more white over here so it's really light. And put just a little bit of green in a few spots. And don't worry if it's not perfectly blended, we can go back on the next layer and do more blending if we need to. I also post a new video every Friday, so if you enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe. And you can check out some of my other videos by hitting Emily Powers Art right below the video. And I'll take you there and you can see some of my other videos on my channel. Alright, so now I got some white, unbleached titanium, and deep magenta. That's the pink that I'm using. And I'm going to put some pink in here. And I didn't rinse my brush out, so I still got some of that green. So it's not pure pink. Alright. And now I'm going to mix a little bit of a darker green. So I'm going to get the Phthalo Green and a little bitty bit of my Ivory Black so that it's a darker green, and maybe some of my yellow too, so it's got some yellow in it. And this green over here is kind of dry, so I'm just brushing it over it a little bit. It's not really blending, it's just going over. Alright, and I'll get some pink with that darker green, and I'll kind of sort of make it like gray. And I'll make a little bit more that light pink color. Right, and I'll get some white, and it'll mix a little bit with what I already had on my brush, and then I'll add some of that like gray color I had. Alright, and I covered the whole thing. So this is just like a blurry background. You could do the background however you want. And this is not finished. It is still very, like, you can see my brush strokes and everything really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse this brush out, and I'm going to put it off to the side, and I'm going to let this layer dry, and then I can go back on my second layer and finish the background. Alright, so now my first layer is dry. I'm going to use the same brush and another brush at the same time. So this is a 1/2 inch mop brush. It's Artist Loft, but you can use any mop brush. That's just the one I have. And first this time I'm going to add my glazing medium so I can have a little bit more time for blending it well. And I'm going to put down my color, and then I'm going to use the mop brush to blend out the edges and get it blended real good. So first I'm going to I should probably put out more white paint before I start. And just get a little bit of white so we can get that, and get a little bit of glazing medium. You don't want a whole lot so that it's like the paint's see-through, but you do want a little bit. And you really don't have to even use the glazing medium if you don't have it or don't want to, but since I had it and I thought I might want a little bit more dry time, I decided to pull it out. But I want to say I've done this in other videos before, the same blending, when I didn't use the glazing medium, so you don't have to have it. Alright, so I put some white down, and then I'll just go straight into my green, get some more white and Unbleached Titanium first though. Make it a really light green. Alright, so I'm going to take my mop brush and just blend the edges where they meet. You can see how it's maybe a little bit hard to see at the moment, but I'll show later on. A little bit of green. Alright. Alright, and now I'll get this kind of darker green that I mixed. and put some, and then I'll get my mop brush, and don't wet your mop brush like I did the Filbert. You want it to be dry. If you wet it, then it doesn't do this blending. Wipe some of the paint off my mop brush and put a little bit more of this up here. I'll mix a little bit more. I'll get the green and Unbleached Titanium and the black. Get a little bit more black. Make it more neutral. Right, now I'll just blend the edges. And wipe most of the paint off. I'll get this lighter color. Get some Glazing Medium. And I'll just put some on the outside. Alright, now just take this and see it was already drying a little bit there, so I'll get my lighter color. Just put some on the outside. And rinse that out a little bit and get some more white. And you can kind of see where I'm picking up some of that darker green, and then I'm bringing it over to the white, and I don't really want that, so I try to put the white back over. And now this light green that I had is probably drying, so I'll put some more on the outside of it. And I'll blend that out. Alright, and then I'll get some white and pink and Unbleached Titanium. And pink. I'll put it in this pink area, and I can get a little bit of green and just put some green in, and then I blend. And I'll blend some of that green in there. It won't be straight pink. Some white. I'll get this lighter, brighter green. Put some of it down and blend together. And I'll get this darker green. So you still want to go fast even with the glazing medium. You want to go fast so that it doesn't dry before you get there. I'm going to get the green and the yellow. And a little bit of the black, make it neutral. And I'll get some of that. And you don't have to put the colors exactly where they are in the picture. You can do it a little different, but I'm not doing it exact either, so. And a little bit of dark. And like what I just did there, I had some pink in my brush, but I also just kind of, see, I didn't really make it pure pink or pure green. It's just kind of green and pink together. So I didn't rinse my brush out. Alright, and then I'll do some dark green here. And blend these two together. I'll get a little bit of black with the pink and kind of make it right in here. Alright, and then I'll get the pink and the Unbleached Titanium again. And I'll put some more of that. Get some more white and go on the edge, and then I'll get some more of this green and go out to the corner. Okay, and now I might just kind of get some of this black and just kind of got some of that glazing medium with it. Kind of make it a little blurry. You can get some of that black with the yellow and green too. And get some glazing medium. There's like a flower that's back here. So we can kind of sort of blend it a little bit and make it look like there's something back here. So I'm going to rinse my brush out and get more of the white and unbleached titanium. And get some like straight magenta. And I think I ended up picking up some yellow, but that's alright. Put that in there. And I don't have any more white, so just get that out real quick. And I'm not really using my mop brush anymore at this point. Getting my white. It can have a little bit more of a harder edge because it's supposed to be a little closer. So I'm alright with it having a little bit more of where you can see the brush strokes. Alright, now I get some of this yellow. Get some yellow in there. And I'll add some whites to the green. Some green. Alright, so that's good. You can see just like a little bit, like there's another one back there. Alright, so it's actually pretty dry. So I'm going to rinse my brush out from those other colors first, and we might can just go right ahead and just move on. Alright, so I'm going to rinse my mop brush out now because I'm not going to need it anymore. And I don't want the paint to dry in there. Alright, so I'll put that brush off to the side on a paper towel, and I'll get my the same brush, the same Filbert that I've been using. First though, let me see, I think it should be dry enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some chalk, and also I didn't say this at the beginning, you can spray your paint so that it keeps it wet longer. And I'm going to get some white chalk, and I'm just going to kind of do a real quick like outline where I want like my branch to be. So it's basically in the middle, but I'm doing it a little higher at this point than this point. And then right about here, I'm going to do some flowers. Just kind of marking out the outside. And then there's going to be some flowers down here. And some flowers over here. Alright, so not really drawing out specific flowers, I'm just doing a few marks, letting me know where I need to go. And then I'll start with my black and do the branch. So it's going to be thicker over here where it starts. Of course, really you can't even see that through all those. Let me wipe that off. And it took paint off with it. That's not good. I'm going to cover over it so it's not that big of a deal. So there's a bunch of flowers here, so you're not going to see the branch. And then I'm doing it in sections at the moment. You can use a smaller brush if you need to, if that would make it easier. Alright, so there's the main branch. And then I'll rinse my brush. And I think I'll go ahead and get my Filbert. So this is a 8 Princeton Select Filbert. And I'm going to dip it in the water. It's smaller than my other one. It's probably a little bigger than a 1/4 inch. And first I'll just take my magenta. There's a bunch of flowers all in here, so I'm just going to take my pink and do it thick there. Just don't go out way to the edges because you want the edges to be neat looking. Alright, so I think I'll get this pink, add some white, and maybe a little bit of yellow. Not a lot. And then I need a lot more white over here. So I'm going to do this one that's, let's see, you want to make sure that your branch is dry over here. Do the one that's covering the branch. Alright, and then I'll get some dark pink. I'll just get the pink by itself and do some. And then get the white. Okay, I think I'm just going to need to let it dry right there. The black is showing a little bit. But I'll do some more for here. So Alright, now I'll get kind of the medium color. And I'll do a few here. Alright, there we go. And I'll do this cluster down here. And it's all pretty light. So I'll get a lot of white. And right about down here. I'll start. May even take a little bit of this black and add a lot of white to it, so it's kind of like a very light gray, but it has like a little bit of a pink color to it. Go back to this brighter. Alright, so you don't have to mark out specific ones all the time, because some of them are just all together. But like this one, I'm going to try to do a good kind of specific shape. And get some white to do in the middle. Alright, and then I'll get the really dark in a few spots. Alright, and then you can get the white and put it in the middle. Alright, and then, so, I don't know that I'm really explaining this very well. The Filbert kind of sort of does most of the work. You just have to, if you do it, okay, let me take some of this one. So, like if you do it flat like that, then you can get a wide area, and if you do it on the side, you can get a small area. So you can just use these two different ways of doing it, either the whole thing or just the side, and you can make flower shapes. Alright, I'm going to rinse that out a little bit. Alright, I think I'm going to do some of the green, the leaves and stuff. I'm going to get my #1 round. I think this is probably the last brush I'm going to use. The last new one I'm going to use. So this is a #1 round Princeton Velvetouch, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it for doing some of the small branches first. So I'm going to water down some of this black, and then after I do some of these small branches, then I'll do like the green leaves. do a little bit. There's going to be like some flower buds there, and I'm going to do a small branch coming off of here. And I think that's all the small branches. I'm going to rinse my brush out, and before I do the green, I'm gonna get some more pink out and mix some pink with my black. It's a little bit of a pink color. Alright, my paint is getting kind of dry, so I need to clear it. So since this is a glass palette, I'm going to spray the canvas, and then I'm going to scrape off all this dry paint. Alright, there we go. And I will just wipe away any that I missed. Alright, there we go. So I am going to get my smaller filbert, and actually I'll go ahead and mix some with a palette knife so that I can have some of this color. So I want a lot of the yellow and just a little bit of the green. I'll get out some more yellow. And I'll get a little bit of white. And this will be like the lighter leaf color. And I will get a little bit of black so that it's not like super bright. It'll make it a little bit more realistic to add a neutral color. Alright, and then I'll get quite a bit of yellow and some green. And some black. And I think that'll be good, those two colors. So got a darker and a lighter green. And I'll start with the dark. And, you know, I was going to do I mixed up that. Let me do that real quick. I got interrupted. Just do little rosebuds, or flower buds, not rosebuds. And do thicker paint. get a little bit of the magenta so that I can some lighter color on there. Alright, so rinse that out, and then I've got this green, and I'm going to do a few leaves. Get a little bit of the lighter color and do some leaves in there. And there's some that comes off there, and we'll do a leaf. This one's kind of got a round top, so it's like getting cut off by something, or it's curling in, so we can't see the tip. And lighter color, go over the black a little bit. I can cover back over that in the petal later. Alright. So you can kind of just see as I grab it which one of these greens I'm getting. Add a little bit of white to the darker, cover better. Go, and some green here, and there's a big leaf right in there. Alright, so now I can work a little bit more on my flowers. Alright, so we're going to do this area here. First I'm going to get the magenta and some black, but more magenta. I really want it, I want you to be able to tell that it's pink, like a dark pink. And there's like a flower bud over here. And one over here. And I don't want that black in my next mixture, so I'm rinsing that out. And I'm going to get some white and pink. we'll do a big one over here. Alright, and I'm going to get some pink. Make it a little darker there. And there will be a flower petal right in there. And then it'll be pretty dark again. Alright, and then there's some flowers in the back, so I'll just do a few flowers out here. There you go. And this is just like the first layer of the flowers, so if we do something a little wrong, if there's not there's some green showing through or something, we can cover back over that later. And now we'll do this last area over here. There's one that's kind of covering over, it's behind the black, but I can put the black in later. And I need more pink so I can get a darker color. Okay. And do some darker color in here again. I can do more details later. So anytime we go over, like I went over this leaf a little bit, we can always go back over it again if we need to. But we do need to go over it so that we have something back, like behind that. Alright. Alright, we got some more white. Alright, so just put some flower petals in there and rinse that out. Can do more detail to it later if we have to. So rinse my brush out real good. Alright, so I think I'm going to, first I'll get this dark color. And I'll just put more on that. All right. So get my greens now. I'll just go back over these leaves. You know, I'm going to get some white and add it to these so that they'll cover better. Okay. So some of these leaves are, you could see through them to the background, so I want to cover over, make sure that you don't see through any of these leaves. Alright, get some more dark. There's a little bit bigger leaf here. Alright, can get some white and a little bit more. Alright. So it's not too hard. It's maybe not the easiest painting, but so far it's not that hard. And I will get the black and go over this branch a little bit more. Get a little bit of unbleached titanium with the black. Just make it a little gray. And put a little bit over here on this branch there. Alright, now I'll go back over here and do more details in the flowers. So I'm going to get my dark green and I want to do it towards the bottom of the flower, and I need some more white, so get out more white. And just do a little bit more so I can use the white on the tip and the dark at the base to make it have more detail in it. Get some white. There's a few like white petals over here, and then you got these ones are kind of dark. And then the tips of a few of them are going to be lighter. Alright, and then the middles of some of the ones that you can really see, it's going to be white, and they'll have like a little bit of white that comes up into each petal. We'll work more on that later. Alright, now this area, alright, and alright, so I'm just working on making the lighter and darker spots in here. It's got white in the middle. I can get some of this darker too. Right, some white in there. Alright, so got a little bit more detail, and whenever you like it, you can stop. Like if I add to it and you like it better before, you can leave it or whatever you want. We'll get some dark and do it right in here so it's like you can kind of see the other, it's making it dark because that other petal is behind there. Right, and then get plain white for the center. Then we got the white I'm gonna put in here. There we go. Alright, and then I'll work a little bit more on these ones down here. Alright, so just do a little bit more on these. Alright, so now I've got a little bit more detail on my flowers, and now what I'll do is I will use my small round brush, and there's like these I guess where the pollen comes from the flowers, there's all these little stems that come from the center. So I'm going to water down some white, might get some glazing medium with it. Get kind of a thin mixture. Alright, and I'll zoom in. I'll scoot everything over a little bit. I'll do these ones first. So, this one's got a lot of little stems. Alright, and then these ones down here, I'll do depending on the angle of the flower, some like these ones are kind of going to the side, these ones are going down. These ones are going straight down. There you go. This one. Just do a few dots in here. And alright, so now what I'll do, go back to these ones again. I will mix up some yellow and you know what, I'll get this, like, I use the green that the darker green that I use for the leaves. I'll just do a few small dots. Now let me get some black and yellow instead. Let me see what that does. It'll give me kind of a different green. I want a small dot. So don't do these too big. Trying to make sure you can see it all the time. Don't do too many yet because we're going to do a different color of these dots. Now this one is pretty much all dark dots, so I can do more of those. I'll do some of this dark green towards the center. Alright, now I'll rinse my brush out and I'll get that yellow and white. It's a light yellow. And I'll do some more with that. So, whoops. I got some water. All right. These ones are kind of in a like oval shape. Alright, now I'm going to take some of the lighter green for the leaves and maybe get it a little bit of white with it too. And just some of the ones that are, get not as much white, some of the ones that are where you can see right in the middle, I'll do green. I'll get some of the darker green on this one. And back to the light green. Alright, so I'll zoom back out. Alright, so rinsing that out. I might get some of this like darker pink color and just get a little bit of that, like right like in between the green and the white. Just kind of some of that in. And a few of them. Alright, so there we go, and then just a few more things I gotta do. I'm gonna get the black, put that stick back in, cover over it. And that gray back. There you go. And maybe just do a few more tiny details with my round brush. So like these stems, cover that better. Get some black. There is a stem there. And some stem over here. There's a few. Petals. Alright, get some of this dark pink and go on top of this dark, make it to where I can really see that it's pink. Get a little bit of this light green, get some water to it, and put some in the middle and then do a little bit lighter on the edge. Alright, so that's pretty much all I could get. Maybe a little bit of the pink with the glazing medium and a little bit of that like over some of these and make them a little darker or something. But it is the one thing I'm not liking, that this batch here doesn't have much dark in it at all. It is a lighter color, but do a little bit of dark. Alright, I think that's pretty good. So now I'll just rinse that out. And I can take like a slightly damp paper towel, and don't touch anything you just did, but you can go over some of these that have been dry a while and take the chalk off. There's a little bit more on there, but I don't want to go over the areas I just did. So there's our pink tree branch there. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm trying to make it to where you can see it in the camera good. So there's the painting. It's pretty good, I think. So it wasn't super hard, but it also wasn't super easy either, so maybe like in the middle for hardness. But I will just say again, if you enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe. I post a new video every Friday on my channel, Emily Powers Art. So if you hit Emily Powers Art right below the video, it'll take you to my channel. And I also, on my Etsy shop, and the link to my Etsy shop in the description, you can check that out. I have some of my paintings for sale in there. And also, I will put up on the screen the schedule for this month. So we only have one left in the month, a butterfly. So if you'd like to see that, that'll be on my channel soon. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.